in an attempt to enjoy this time of the year more, I've decided to do the Spookathon that was announced a week ago, 2 weeks ago. In any case, it starts on the 16th of October, goes until the 22nd, and there are 5 challenges linked to the Spookathon, even though I understand it's quite loose, with the main aim to just fit books that fit the season a little bit more. This is a season I do not like. I seem to be the only one that I talk to that goes like, no, autumn is not nice. It rains non-stop. It's not actually properly cold yet. You just sort of are always damp. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about the tentative 5 books I will read next week. I'm not sure I will get through of these, and I will discard them if I don't enjoy them in favour of getting to books I do actually enjoy. But with no further ado, the very first challenge of the Spookathon is to read a thriller. And I don't have one designated one for this challenge because all of them have thriller aspects, all but one, I believe. So I'm going to say I've covered that and move on to the second challenge, which is to read a book with a spooky word in the title. And I've chosen In Cold Blood. So blood in this case, I'm just saying, is a spooky word, even though nothing wrong with blood. This by Truman Capote is a true crime novel in which he follows the murder of an entire family, I think, and it's supposed to be really gory. This book, though, is supposed to be written really, really beautifully, which is a bit of a weird oxymoron when it comes to such a grim topic. I've only read Breakfast at Tiffany's, I believe, and quite enjoyed it. If I'm not totally confusing who that is that right? Breakfast at Tiffany's? This I'm expecting to be very different, but equally good. This has been standing on my shelves for absolute ages, so this I think would be a good one to get started on. Also, this doubles up as a book with an orange cover, which is challenge 4, I believe, in the Spookathon. So I'm counting this, though, for the scary word of blood. Then the third challenge, I think, is actually probably the most interesting. It's to read a book based on a childhood fear. Now, again, I have multiple options here because I have a very homogeneous TBR, really. My childhood fear I picked was being scared of being kidnapped. I was really afraid of being kidnapped. We had a lot of talks at our primary school, I remember, about stranger danger and all those things. So I've effectively got 3 different books, all from the library, that somehow, from what I understand of the synopses, have to do with kidnapping. Maybe in order of how good I'm expecting these to be. This one, Dear Amy, sounds really cool. It sounds as if it's about a woman who has a sort of advice column, and she gets a letter that is written as if it was written by a girl that was kidnapped. Complicated. And she asks for help through this column. And people have to figure out, is it true? How can this be? Where is this woman if it's not a hoax? This sounds really cool, but I made the mistake of going on Goodreads, and there are quite a lot of reviews that said this was really disappointing and especially predictable, which does annoy me when I read thrillers. The next up, therefore, is Remember Mia. Helpfully, this tells me that it is, in fact, a thriller. This is about a woman who I believe comes to after a car accident to remember that her young daughter has been kidnapped. Alone, just from the blurb though, so this is not a spoiler. I have no clue, I've not read this, how can I spoil it? It sounds as if she is a very unreliable narrator though, and she starts to be a prime suspect in the police trying to find her kidnapped daughter. So this sounds like a pretty straightforward psychological thriller, but if it's written well, I think this could be like a perfect one for a readathon that keeps you turning the pages. And then finally, I'm not sure how much of a thriller this actually is. Lamb by someone called Bonnie Nadzam. I don't know how to pronounce that. This is also, I believe, about a kidnapping of a girl. Although this sounds a bit like a sort of new dark, well, the original was also dark. This sounds like a spin on the Lolita story, basically. It only says on the back, Tommy is 11, David Lamb is 54. There's nothing wrong with that, is there? And I'm guessing there's a lot wrong with that. So this one sounds the most horrible to read, even though I don't actually think it's a clean thriller. I think this is just sort of branded as a novel, although it has the sort of same suspense as a thriller. Not sure, but I do think something makes me think this will be good. I don't know why. And then the last prompt, as I'm skipping the orange cover and deciding that that's already been covered, is to read a book with a spooky setting. Now, I'm kind of hoping either of the kidnapping ones will end up in a spooky setting. I mean, if there's anything along the lines of a cellar, a little hut, closed away from everyone, and the child having to live out their days there, that to me is more spooky than any graveyard could ever be. And I don't really have a fear of certain places, so I was a bit unsure about this one, but I'm choosing a sort of wild card just so that I do actually have 5 books, just to make it feel like a complete TBR for this Spookathon, and that's The Coma by Alex Garland. Sorry. This I know nothing about, apart from the fact that this is the author who wrote The Beach, which I did not read, but I watched the movie. And this, just from what I'm making up, is about the subconscious. And it's got quite a few illustrations in there. There you go. Which I think is pretty intriguing and might make this a quick read. And yeah, the setting of the subconscious, I realise this is a far stretch for the prompt of the Spookathon challenge, but all the thrillers kind of illustrate that the mind is the spookiest place there is, because people come up with some bad shit in there. So I'm throwing this in as the last book to fulfill all the 5 challenges. I'll see how I get on with it. 5 books in a week is unheard of for me. I don't think I will get anywhere close to that, but I think I will just let the most enthralling, thrilling, enticing book be the one that wins, and we'll see which other ones can push their way in there. I'd love to hear what your TBRs are and what kind of thrillers you're hoping to pick up. I'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.